Hello, this is Dr. T. Surendra Singh's faculty of DEM College of Teacher Education for M.Ed courses. And today, that is 4th May 2022 at 11 to 12, being a teacher of PC2 Psychology of Learning and Development. As a part of the internal assessment for these particular subjects, I organized one seminar among the M.Ed first year students having 5 groups. The first groups having preparation on Piaget, the theory that was developed by Piaget as far as cognitive development, and the second group, that is roll number 11 to 20, on the topic of the contributions of Chomsky as far as the language development theory, and the third one is Harlow attachment theory as a group 3 from 21 to 30s, and group number 4 on the erections theories, and the last one is Kohlberg, that is roll number 41 to 50. They have to present on the topic of the theory of moral development developed by cognitive. So why I organize this kind of seminar is nothing but through these they will develop first the research works. The first one is development of the research skills in order to prepare the article and research papers. And the second one is the compilation accordingly in sequential manners of the research works and in writing in a systematic way, and preparation of the PowerPoint and development of the teaching skills. So on different objective, I organized this seminar today, and which is very, very must for the M.Ed courses, because they are the future teacher educator of the B.Ed colleges, and they have to develop themselves to teach in a very effective and nice ways to the B.Ed trainees. And therefore I organized this kind of the seminar on different theories developed by different psychologists. So let us proceed how they present their seminar. Thank you everyone. I am Dr. T. Surendra.
Then they will develop a sense of trust, safe and secure. And if the caregiver fails to provide, like emotionally unavailable, fails to feed regularly, child abuse, and rejecting. Rejecting habisama habada angang siya magkape hasipo. Kapag mamana number 1, number 2 tawing bayra na drama sa nungai to bira dimana khandi positive way react of the bira kape na sanapod amat khambiraga mana pami angang pami khangdabida dum thambira moda ma rejecting to biradi angang se caregiver becomes a source of frustration rather than a source of pleasure, and then it will develop a sense of mistrust, suspicion, and anxiety. And thus, the success in this stage will lead to the virtue of hope. Some have still hope.
If children are criticized, overly controlled, or not given the opportunity to assert themselves, they begin to feel a sense of powerlessness and incompetence, which can lead to shame and doubt in their abilities. In this stage, parents do play a major role. Thank you.
In continuation of the slide presentation, I'm going to explain about the third stage of erection, psychosocial development. So in the third stage, the third stage is about the initiation versus scale, and the age group is under the 3 to 6 years. Here the child begins to ascertain power and control over the physical and social environment. It means that in friends, and they develop a sense of intellectual, interpersonal skill, and with that there comes a sense of purpose to initiate certain things like creating games, or others. And this guilt comes from being made to feel bad about them.
It is very much important for the children. Then children must learn to develop new skills and develop a sense of achievement and accomplishment. This is what he means by the term industry, this point. This is what he means by the term inferiority. So the role of the teachers and parents here is to give support and encouragement. So while giving those support and encouragement, here should be taken that care should be taken not to equate the achievement with the acceptance and love. The teachers and the parents should develop what to say. Yes.
Good morning, everyone, and respected teachers. My name is Namada, and now I'm going to present theories erection stage 5, that is identity versus confusion or role confusion. Theories erection called the fifth stage of psychosocial development of human age, identity versus role confusion. Adolescence starts just before puberty. During this stage, adolescence becomes independent, inquiring ambitious or aspirations. Mati independent, my peers group or my mamanabi since pullaga nungaihilakpa wari sanaba matamdasu hana mama my parents sinsiga wari watai sanaraga sina paisina pate hairabase magi mama pa de kitang nathaira kanda my adung stage ne adagidi she becomes independent matamsita kamai to get social media nina ma phagi isai sapa mi to orso doctor gumba ursu engineer gumba ursu hekta mataw gatam ninga pado aduma hek ai oirani habigi period lo ngam da bata ni ne si se pa aduga during these stages that
these are the people they want to make a meaningful, purposeful and impactful life. So to do so, they want to nurture the future generation. In order to do so, they want to guide the future generation through their teachings or through their mentoring and through their volunteership, or they can even raise their own children. And generativity are the people, they are success in this process of life. So they will feel positive about their life, and they feel satisfied, and they are very happy in their life.
Fellows, I'm Punyawar, and now I'm going to represent stage 8, integrity versus despair, which is the last and 8th stage in the erections stage theory of psychosocial development. And this stage begins approximately at 65 years and up to death. So the main conflict in this case is integrity versus despair. So the important event is the reflection on acceptance of the individual's life. The individual is creating meaning and purpose of one's life and reflecting on life achievements. So during this stage, like 65 years sure
I myself thinking I'm really how I will take up this conclusion part. My team has already explained about the stages, and they have briefly explained about it. So now I will continue with the conclusion part along with their virtues. In the first stage, Erikson believed that it has in the trust and
Yes, group
roll
one.
number 1 to 10. Our topic is on Piaget's theory of cognitive development.
Okay.
I would like to give a brief introduction of who is Jean Piaget.
yeah, it's John Piaget.
So he is a famous Swiss psychologist, and he developed the first major theory of cognitive development. So he is also called the father of developmental psychology. Jean Piaget's first interests were animals, and he published his first scientific paper on albino sparrows in 1907 when he was just 11 years old. And in 1920, he began working with standardized intelligence tests. He realized that younger children, they consistently make types of mistakes that older children do not of cognitive development.
About the theory of human mind, he proposed that we have mentioned about. So these particular cognitive abilities is termed by Piaget as the schema. So these various schemas, they together form the structure of the human mind. So the earlier schemas that represent those reflexes and instincts are, the second one is accommodation, and the third one is look detail about assimilation. Here it says, as for example, what is existing schema? Existing schema is, for example, a child saw a dog, encounter a dog, and then keep into his mind that a dog has 4 legs and a tail. That's the existing schema. Now the same child encounter another dog with a different shape and size, a smaller dog. Now the child started to fit in with the existing information, existing schema to the new information. Now the child started saying, okay, I saw a dog can be bigger or it can be smaller. That's assimilation. Trying to fit in or adding in a new information with the aware of things beyond their body. So as they grow older, they learn to do things intentionally. So a key milestone here is development of working memory, or like Piaget termed it as one's realization of object permanence. So example here, a mother shows a child an object or a toy, and then she hits it, and what happens is the child would think that the toy is gone, but then here, if the child starts to understand that even though he could not see the toy, there is
In this stage, it is also this stage is also regarded as the pre-preparation for the final stage, and the child can do operation on concrete objects, that is real and actual objects, but find it hard to solve abstract problems. And the child begins to understand the concept of conservation, that is, the child learns regarding the shape, size, volumes, etc. Then understanding of reversibility start from this stage, that is, the child can count from 1 to 100 and vice versa. Elimination of egocentrism, that is, the child doesn't perceive ideas from only his or her point of view. Then universal and uniform as explained by Piaget. And Piaget, the number of research studies that was taken up had refuted that the claims made by Piaget that the children below the age of concrete operational stage were incapable of logic thinking and egocentric. And
hello everyone, as a part and partial fulfillment of M.Ed first year syllabus, we have a seminar to review briefly the theoretical principles on different dimensions of development of learner in the area of language. Our group 2 comprises of roll number 11 through 20. We will be presenting the topic language development according to Chomsky. That we interact with. Here we are. Let me quickly introduce the topic. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that is in USA, in the year 1922, and his date of birth is 7th of December. He is considered as the father of modern linguistics, and his main contribution is the transformative generative grammar, which is an attempt to describe the syntactical processes common to all human language mathematically. So let us see his field of expertise. He is an American linguist, and specifically let me reiterate the development of transformational grammar. He is also one of the founders in the field of cognitive science. And there are a few terms that are associated with him. Terms like UG, LAD, TGUG.
And this theory developed by Noam Chomsky tells us something about language acquisition. According to Chomsky, a child is born with basic set of language skill, that is, human brain is pre-wired with some basic rules of language. So from his theory, we can know that when a child is born into this world, his mind is not a blank slate, nor his brain is empty. Rather, he came into this earth with what Chomsky terms as language acquisition device. And about this LAD, Sir Johnson will add on that. Thank you.
This is a term associated with Noam Chomsky. What does this term state? Or in our head, when we are born, it is just a device, and it is a hypothetical. It is a hypothetical tool hardware into the brain that helps children rapidly learn and understand language. Because of these tools, or because of this device, which is already installed in the child's brain, we can understand what the people are talking about. The child is able to understand what the people are talking about, the words, and the child is able to understand the grammars. And we think that before we discuss this, Noam Chomsky, we think that the children are born with empty mind, with nothing in.
Known by a short form called UG. Okay. So according to the book of this Noam Chomsky synthetic structure, it proposed a noble idea that all human beings, that means we all human individuals, they are born with an innate, that means an inborn understanding of how language works. So which we call it as a universal grammar. So this universal grammar, it states the ability to learn the language is built in the human brain from the time of the birth, irrespective of the languages. So it means that the ability to learn the language is an innate ability of each and every individual. So some of the main points of the theory are: language is universal properties, convergence. So all children, they may be exposed to different units, but they will all, at last they will come to some common grammar. Poverty of stimulus. So here it's the
Grammar. First, system of linguistic knowledge possessed by native speakers of a language. Second, we have linguistic performance. It is the way a language system is used in communication. Now, before I proceed, I'd like to explain these two words in pair. When we talk about linguistic competence, let me give you a very simple example of a game of chess. We all possess the knowledge of how to play the game. Now, that particular knowledge is what we call competence. And in linguistic terms, it's the knowledge that we already have embedded in us, as discussed by Sir Johnson in LAD. We have a tool that is innate in us. We're able to identify languages and learn languages. All right. Now, second, we have linguistic performance.
Generative grammar. DGT is defined as a system of language analysis that recognize the relationship among various elements of a sentence and among possible sentences of a language that uses process or rules. Now I will talk about when and why Chomsky came up with this theory of TGG. When the influence of structuralism was in its peak in 1947,
surface structure analysis. If I say I am a girl, is it correct or wrong? If I say I am a girl, correct or wrong? Am I a girl? Yes. That is also interrogative level of grammar. Let's discuss about grammar. But then, if I ask you one of my
93 years old, my very first point is the value of education should be placed on students' critical thinking skills and the process of gaining useful and applicable knowledge. ꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯇꯧꯕꯗꯣ ꯃꯥ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯔꯤꯛꯂꯤ ꯑꯦꯒꯦꯟꯁ ꯇꯧꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯅꯣꯂꯦꯖ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯃꯈꯜꯒꯤ ꯅꯣꯂꯦꯖ ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯦꯂꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯐꯇ ꯑꯦꯄ꯭ꯂꯤꯀꯦꯕꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯕ skillful ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯗꯕꯅꯦꯕ. The second point, Chomsky is against to the traditional practice-oriented learning experience and conditioned general atmosphere of school. It is somewhat same what I have said in the first point. So I will go to the next point. Schools should be democratic. Okay. What students discover for them will be remembered and will be basis for the further exploration and inquiry and perhaps significant intellectual contribution. Habiti sahaja na masa matong katana discover tong jera pot se asina mangonda hada tung poina insing ba aduga further makhata na mana thiziluri badu da makhata na ma explore tawge hai taraga su magi hu mana masana thiziluri bu pot adu sizin na bana mangonda hena ke doba
signification, and I have collected 4 points regarding this limitation. And the first point is rhythm study drills children. The theory relies on children being exposed to language but take no account of interaction between the children and the caretaker. Nor does it recognize the reason why a child might want to speak the function of language. And this second point,
I'm Wyman Judith Singh and I'm concluding the presentation. Okay, last guys, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Actually, Noam Chomsky was a psychologist who have contributed so much that it revolutionized the modern linguistics. And as we know that we have learned so many things from him. For example, just we have learned about LAD, that is the language acquisition device, where a child has the innate ability. He believes that a child has the innate ability to learn languages, innately hardwired in their brain. And again, we learn about the UG, that is the universal grammar. He talks about that a child has the ability to rapidly learn the grammar regardless of any languages. So these are the things. After that, he talked about the transformational generative grammar, in which he took an analyzing approach towards the various elements of a sentence.
For example, the clinging, the language, learning, or nursing. See, I am saying, manai haita. You will be quick in fencing. I said, the Maramu is a very harlow haiba psychologist. See, research is select over it. India, North India, from the Hinduism related to him. For temples, for example, Manipur, Mahabli the Karipo. Mahabli lady man, they are all rhesus monkeys. Then he removed the young monkeys from their mothers before they had a chance to born and kept them isolated. Haziki rhesus monkey, young monkey sings here, Mama sings here, as a bonding to Lingaida, Mana, no one removed the Tokre, on isolate Toraga, Hamdo. Then the mother any could say Manako. Surrogate Hibase, biological damaging as I gave when Angang sits on another Yopa, Yopa the Gale environment, people on the back. And then Atupa mother season of the Dunia, when a surrogate mother has it. I don't see the sin of mother in Isemanemo. The monkeys were kept.
I will present the slide about observation. I am a colleague, Harry Harogi, experiment, brief, Hybriaman, experiment, observe observe the Matanga. After some time, the limitation to give a P the target, manual of that observation.
Okay, in the monkey that is bought by the mother with a normal mother and the monkey that is bought by the surrogate mother. Okay, the first one is the monkey that were bought by the surrogate mother are very timid. Okay, they are very timid and they can get easily bullied by the others monkey, and they know how to cope up with them. They have difficulty with the other female monkey, and the female monkey also come to be in the last stage. We are inadequate mother, and the not important here. The emotional attachment is more important.
And here he found out that it was a social deprivation other than maternal deprivation that the young monkeys were suffering from. Here, if the modify the tie to the mother, contact comfort could be provided by either mother or father. This idea is widely accepted now, but was revolutionary. The times that done by defending from their mothers can force them to become socially incompetent in the future. This research gives insight on behavior of these children. And these children, those victims may have numerous several emotional, behavioral issues like emotional outbursts, hyperactive, sometimes angriness, or even have
says that the capacity of learner is acquired. Learning was in the positive association with the complexity and the maturations of their brains. And the number 2 point is their learning process are not simply strengthening of some motor responses over others. And the number 3 is hence learning set research serve to advance in studies of animals as a rational.
So let me take about a conclusion. So from this experiment, we can conclude that even the infant monkeys would go to their where mother when hungry where mother and once fed it it would go to the clothed mother most of the time. The children rely on caregiver for everything. The children even mother to tell your story. This of group members. So Kohlberg was a psychologist, American psychologist, and he developed the theory of moral development based on Piaget's cognitive development, like how we develop our cognitive level. Based on that, he developed how our morality changes as we grow. So here is the story he chose, that is called his dilemma, to develop his theory. In that story, there was a man called Hans, and he has a loving wife. His wife has been diagnosed with cancer, and the only drug to cure that cancer was available in only one pharmacy in this place. But the
4 to 10 years, and this is the first level. Here a person is motivated by obedience to authority. I mean, the morality is very simple. That intervene